Wallowa County folks, they're not afraid of any weather. You folks, thanks for coming out. Happy New Year, everybody. It's Friday, January 3, 2025. That ain't no jive. Welcome to Fishtrap Fireside. Fishtrap Fireside, for those of you who don't know, is a monthly event for local folks to come and read their work, to share stories. And each month offers a variety pack of what people are thinking about and writing down who live here, so it's always a blast. A special welcome to all of you who maybe this is your first time coming to Fishtrap Fireside, you intrepid folks. Thanks. And of course, all of you folks watching online at fishtrap.org or on Fishtrap's YouTube channel, welcome. We're happy to have you too. Here's how Fireside works. Every month we invite 3 people to come up and share something that they've written. This month's featured readers are, and you're ready to give them a warm Wallowa County welcome, Kate Forster. Yeah. Cameron Scott. And Shannon McNerney. That was great. Thanks. Afterwards, we take a little intermission where you can go back and get yourself a treat, pour another cup of something for yourselves, visit with some folks. We also have a raffle going on. A raffle, you say? A raffle. Up here, Jessica is standing up here, and you can buy a raffle ticket for $5. There are a couple kind of cool baskets, and we'll announce those at the beginning of the open mic. So you still have a chance to buy raffle tickets. I hope you do. Before we get started, it's important to mention something. Each month we have a sponsor for Fishtrap Fireside, and these are folks who help us provide the treats and drinks and make this place look pretty and nice. It's usually a local business or an individual who works for like a real estate company. We've never had a family sponsor Fishtrap Fireside event, and it's important to know that this month's Fishtrap Fireside is sponsored by Sharon and Larry Nall. I recommend shaking their hand up and down at the intermission and saying thanks for sponsoring Fireside. We really appreciate it, folks. And to all you people who donated to Fishtrap over the holidays at the end of your giving, it really makes a difference and allows us to put on shows like Fishtrap Fireside and all the other programs during the year. It makes a big difference. Thank you. All right, let's get to our first reader. You know her, you love her. Kate Forster. Yeah. Is a vibrant soul with a profound passion for living life to the fullest and helping others. Just don't trash talk her beloved Oregon State Beavers and everything will be okay. Ooh, we might have the Civil War tonight up on that. With deep roots in Wallowa County and a passion for community service, she has served as a Fishtrap board member for the last 10 years. Thanks, Kate. Kate's career path at Wallowa Valley Center for Wellness has evolved from a beginning as a peer support specialist, moving on and up, and to a dedicated service coordinator for individuals with developmental disabilities. Whether it's connecting with clients, attending a Fishtrap event, planning her next Amtrak adventure, or yelling, "Go Beavs!" at the TV, Kate's life is a beautiful blend of passion, purpose, and fun. Come on up, Kate.
Howdy. Can everyone hear me okay? I don't know. I just would like first to thank Fishtrap. It's been an honor to be on the board and just be a part of something that's bigger than all of us. And I want to give a shout out to the staff and who did these soundboards for those of us who can't hear very well. So it really helps in here. I think it's helped me at least. So I have I'm going to start with a few a few poems, and then a bigger piece to round it off. So, here goes. Start. Start writing more. Start walking more. Start laughing more. Start. Take that next step in whatever it is you want to do. Next poem, Buddy and Beeve. People know my lovely cats. Buddy and Beeve. They fight and play like dogs in the confines of my small apartment. Buddy once pulled the plug on my bathwater while I was in the bath, making my bath time record fast. Beeve chewed my hearing aid in half, making a repair trip to LeGrand a necessary drive, thankfully on a Friday when the roads were good. They have the capacity to chill, lie on my back, calm my nerves, sweet subjects of photographs, for providing a tranquil sense of security. All right, 24 years. Grief is love. I see you and your grandkids, my nieces and nephews. I see you in every jet stream, sunrise and sunset I witness. I hear you sing Lady in Red, Center Field, and Over the Rainbow. You continue to help us appreciate the little things. You taught us to go on more adventures, have the hard conversations, watch more sunrises and sunsets, laugh and cry at the memories. Keep on living. Loss brings life. My last piece, longer than a poem. Underdogs. Dictionary definition. A competitor thought to have little chance of winning a fight or contest. I like my definition better. An individual or team who rises against the odds and wins, or doesn't officially win, but wins in the hearts of those watching. My twin sister, Alta, and I were born 2.5 months prematurely. My mom's doctor here in Enterprise told her, "It's okay, you're young. You have time to have more babies," assuming we would not survive. My dad had to borrow a car and drive my mom through a snowstorm in the middle of the night to Portland, stopping anywhere he could to feed my mom so we could get nutrients and gain weight. We were born a few days later at OHSU on January 19th. Our due date was on April 5th. Alta was twin A. She coming out first with an infection that almost killed her. I arrived 4 minutes later, losing oxygen in the process. We were rushed off to the neonatal unit, and my parents couldn't see us for 3 days. My mom finally had it and went to find us. At a week old, I had a brainstem bleed, a stroke that caused my hearing loss, vision loss, and cerebral palsy. At 2 weeks old, I had heart surgery. I was on and off a respirator for 2 months. A doctor told my parents I would never walk, talk, or feed myself. Alta was in the hospital for 2.5 months. I was in for 5.5. I would never have made it without my parents' support, including all the trips to Portland for physical therapy, occupational therapy, and audiology appointments. And all the exercises they had me doing at home. Looking back now, I was privileged and feel even more grateful for my parents. Growing up, my parents never treated me like I had a disability. I rode my bike everywhere, skied at Fergie, ski raced at Anthony. I also ran cross country in high school. I might have had more falls, scrapes, and bruises, but scars build character. Years later, as a 23-year-old college student, I enrolled in a wilderness-based education course in the San Juan Mountains of southwestern Colorado. We were hiking 10 to 14 miles a day, carrying 60-pound packs. This is when I felt my hips and legs move differently, stopping me in my tracks. This is when I first truly felt my cerebral palsy. It was beautiful. I was also grieving the loss of my dad, who had passed away 6 months earlier. On top of all this, I was starting to question my sexuality. That majestic wilderness will always hold a piece of my heart. This is why I have always rooted for the underdog. I have fond memories of watching sports with my dad, the Blazers, the Beavers, the World Series. As a family, we went up to Pullman when the Beavs played the Cougs. The Beavs always lost. The Beavs lost for like 40 years, I think. But I still love them. They were true underdogs, but we kept rooting for them. In the year 2000, the Beavs had the best season they've ever had, playing in the Fiesta Bowl. As a family, with my amazing dad fighting cancer, we got to watch the Beavs beat Notre Dame in Dad's hospital room. Today, through my job and love of sports, I continue to root for the underdog. That's it.
Yay, Kate. Thanks. Appreciate that. All right, well, folks, it's the beginning of a new year. It's 2025, and that means the big read cometh. The big read cometh. What's the big read? What's the big deal of the big read? Well, I'll tell you, since I think this is the 18th year in a row that Fishtrap has provided a big read or Fishtrap Reads program in the wintertime when it's dark and you want to get cozy and sit on the couch, get next to the wood fire, and we all try to read one book together as a community and talk about it. This year's book is The Cold Millions by Jess Walter. It's a novel set in 1909 Spokane, and it touches on a lot of stuff that was going on in the labor movement and with indigenous people at the time. It's a great read. We'll provide weekly events starting next week. And also the author, Jess Walter, will be standing right here on February 5. So make plans for that. Tickets are available online already at fishtrap.org. We do have limited seating, as you can see, and I think we'll probably fill it fast. And he's a great guy. But we're going to kick off the big read next week, next Thursday. Mark this, the 9th of January, with an event called Songs of the People. It's hosted by Fishtrap and the Wallowa Valley Music Alliance. It's going to be a blast. It says, join us for a joyous, interactive musical event featuring songs from the early 20th century vaudeville. You know, won't you come home, Bill Bailey? Won't you? And the labor movement. Like, once was a union made. Right. Plus, you'll meet characters from the Cold Millions. Encouraging everybody to dress in your best 1909 costume. And it's in your closet. You already have it. Join in. It'll be a memorable night. I hope you folks do come. There's a $10 suggested donation, but we were not going to turn anybody away. So bring the family, bring the kids. It'll be a great time. That's next Thursday. Okay, let's get to our second reader. Cameron Scott has been around Fishtrap for a long time, and we're glad to have him back. Cameron is an 8th to 12th grade school teacher at Joseph Charter School. He advises Interact Club, Dungeons and Dragons, and serves on various educational boards. He reads to his 3-year-old daughter when she can't sleep at 3 in the morning and talks gibberish to his 10-month-old son, who somehow understands. His wife and dogs love him. Yeah. In other lifetimes, all he's written and fished comes back. Please welcome Cam Scott.
How's everybody doing? Good. I just want to point out a few people in here. See on the far wall over there, there are 3 students that came tonight. Very proud of them. Appreciative. Let's give them a round. I'm hoping that we will hear from them later this evening. The other thing right here is Mary Hope, Liza's sister, Miss Strickland's sister, scratched her name in this board up here, which I really love. So I don't know if any of you know Liza Strickland, but Emmy Hope, I was just looking there, it's right there. And the last thought that I really have right now is that the first time I ever came to Fishtrap, it was a potluck. There used to be these potlucks, and I was invited in, and there was a potluck. And Larry and Sharon, were you there? I feel like, yeah, I think you guys were there. Mariah Blackhorse, who I miss a lot, she served us horse. That was the first and only horse I've ever eaten. Thanks to my family for being here. I have the whole crew. Thanks to friends for being here. You students, rocking. This first poem is there's a student in Joseph Charter School that's pretty legendary. You guys probably all have legendary students in your memories. But Jenning Scheifelbein, I know you were online. I know you're online and you're going to hear this poem. It's called Public Education. Work days, I wake and rise and go to school. My palette, my pulpit, my pursuit of impossible grace. Where the frontal lobes of all shapes flutter and flip. Fast sadness free themselves to think. Sometimes shy, sometimes shout. Symphonies, serenades, gunpowder smoke as lockers ajar slam shut. I swore I'd never be a public school teacher, and yet it calls to me, which is to say during class, 1,000,000 cells a second of me are dying in front of 800,000 cells of you. And so we are constantly being reborn, remade, rebirthed into who we are becoming. This soul serious desire to simply be known. Hour after hour of assignments, assessments, acting the fool. The internet says I speak an average of 15,000 words a day, make 1,500 educational decisions, and read the same 1,000 words, repeated, reshaped, recycled, until they're not words at all, but a rhythm, a pulse, a prayer I keep whispering in the quiet corners of the classroom. There are few things as humbling. Impossible to attain perfection, and yet something endures. The way a barn stands long after the farmer's gone. Weathered but whole, the shape of each student's learning, like the hum of a distant tractor that never quite fades, an understanding rooted deep in the soil of the land. It's been a long time since I've read in front of people, so it's kind of jazzy. One of my favorite things I do as an English teacher, I mean, there's so many favorite things I do as an English teacher at Joseph Charter School, but one of them is writing letters of recommendation. And this year, we lost a senior. And a lot of times, sometimes I'm sitting there at my desk and I just get caught in the spaces that he used to be. I don't know if any of you guys kind of are picking up what I'm putting down, but I didn't get to write him a letter of recommendation. So this is my poem for Cole. It's called The Boy Who Lived Down the Street. Years from now, when Maggie Jo and I are driving home from fishing, coming back from someplace I can't yet name, between holding fingers to the heat vent and watching car headlights pass, She will ask about that boy who lived down the street. The one who was kind, handsome, with a smile or a joke on his lips, how he revved his motorcycle for her, a flash of metal and noise. Though in the classroom, he was rarely flashy or loud. Yes, I will say, I remember him. The engine of his heart inside his tall frame, fed by a divine fuel pump. The heat of the sun and dust and asphalt, every part pulling him towards something he could feel but not name. His eyes, the thousands of lights that seemed to combust in them, and an open road stretched out ahead like the silence of the earth itself. Thank you, Cole. You call me father. This one's for you, Maggie Joe. She's like right back there. Feel very lucky. Keller's back there too. You call me father for Maggie Joe. When we get ready for school, change into what we need for the day, and you thank me for pouring your cereal or helping you into your jacket or boots or buckling your car seat, walking the stairs to school, your words are like the wind, and I am a rusty old gate swinging open and closed. Daughter, I am a squeaky hinge, carrying you on my shoulders, holding you close, your silk hair caught in my mouth or tickling my nose. A squeaky hinge as we drive and talk or read or I sing you to sleep. Like a rusty old gate opening and closing, letting my love be known. Letting it be known like a wheat field shushing itself to sleep. Like the awkward sweep of heron wings lifting off, or a deer bounding away like water. Like water is also a river. You call me father, and I am a gate left open to the wind. That guy back there in the corner, that's Ken Hunt. He's an amazing artist, sculptor, chair maker, poet, and friend. This is called Father and Son. Dad, this one's for you. I've written you poems before, but this one is about Keller. So it's like what is it? It's like a dad poem for a son, but it's dedicated to my dad. Father and Son. Son, you smile, and light spills easy, like rain softening dry ground. It's a smile I didn't know was possible. You smile like a river after rain, running over rocks, over leaves, filling the land, feeding it. You smile in this world, and it blossoms. The trees stretch toward you. Even in winter, when the cold hardens the earth and the wind cuts sharp, your touch softens the frozen ground and calls life from it again. Even your father bends to your will. For hours, your fingers dig through my beard like dirt. You remove my glasses and hat from my face and look into my eyes as if you could see into me, into the past, into things I don't always know to ask. You hold me there in that quiet, as if your touch were a question I could never answer. Your light, your warmth, until your smallness grows heavy, until you cry for your mother, her milk, the only river you know. This one's the last one. For those of you that don't know, I really love rivers. I really love fish. And I love being outside. I write a lot of poems to rivers. This is just another poem to rivers. It's kind of a dystopia. No, poetry doesn't have to be truthful. I hope this poem is never true, is what I will say. When the river went dry. But sometimes we get really close in the summers around here. When the river went dry, When the river went dry, I was not ready for the stillness. The land did not speak. There was no bird song, no whisper of wind. I did not know what to do with the silence. The weight of the sun pressing like a fist in the small of my back, like an unspoken question, like an old grief, like a burning hymn. Willows bent under a weight I could not touch, a future made of empty spaces, of air that has hung there too long, waiting for something to return. Of finless hatchery trout like wet socks, pale as paper. Of the river's parched mouth that can only wait for a rain, dry as old bones. All we had left were tailwater hatches, meadows too hot for afternoon siestas, too dry to hold their dirt. A lone carp drifting near a discarded shopping cart, half submerged in mud. I'm getting too old to wait for another summer of relentless heat. Too tired of the sun rising red, the shifting sand of memory, while the rivers run dry of their songs. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Cam. It's always great to hear your voice. Okay. I was just telling you about the big read, and all of a sudden, right on the heels of the big read in February is the 28th Winter Fishtrap Gathering. It's a 3-day weekend, February 14, 15, 16. And let me back up just for a second, because Fishtrap's mission since the beginning, with a slight change, Rich, Fishtrap's mission is to cultivate clear thinking and good writing in and about the West. And so those are the questions we ask all the time. This winter, we're going to ask the question, what is the West? And it depends on who you talk to, right? It depends on where you're born. What exactly is the West? Is it something you can circle on a map? Is it an environment or a topography? Is it just the culture of the West? Is it a myth? Is the West simply a state of mind? These are the questions we're going to talk about in February, and I hope you can be a part of the conversation too, because you all have something to say on this subject, I'm sure. It takes place February 14 through 16 right here at Fishtrap. So some of the things we're going to talk about are what are the stories we tell about the West? Think about that. Who owns the West? Who lives and works in the West? And then what is the indigenous perspective on all of this? So I hope you sign up. We're going to open registration maybe as early as next week. A couple of the people that we're going to have, Wallowa Resources is going to be involved. The Nature Conservancy is involved. The Wallowa Land Trust is involved. Also Bobby Connor, director of the Temusclit Cultural Institute in Pendleton, will be here for the weekend. And our keynote presenter is Native American author and emeritus professor at the University of Montana, Deborah Magpie Erling. She'll be here for the weekend. We're pretty excited about that. Okay, let's get to our third reader. Shannon McNerney, Fishtrap's executive director, has served as Fishtrap's ED since 2015. Fishtrap's mission to cultivate clear thinking and good writing in and about the West aligns with her passionate belief that the power of storytelling, creativity, and art can bring together and transform community. Shannon spent the first part of her career working in music as a classroom and studio teacher, singer, in music publishing, and as the executive director of the Portland Symphonic Choir. She received her bachelor's degree in music education from the University of Oregon, and just last month, received her Master's of Arts in Organizational Leadership from Gonzaga University. Shannon lives, writes, sings, cooks, attempts gardening, and snuggles with her pets, dogs, and cats in Joseph, Oregon. Welcome, Shannon.
different perspective this time. So I want to, I'm a pinch hitter, as a lot of you know, for our neighbor, Melissa Bush, and I want to send out my best to her and Gabe right now, and I know that we'll be hearing from her in the coming season, so thanks for that. So before I get started, I do have a warning. This reading contains references to the number 13 and may be sensitive for those who suffer from triskaidekaphobia. You've been warned. Number 1, 13 is the first teen, a prime number with a twin, 11, and a cousin, 17, as well as the number of sides found in a tridecagon. It's a happy number, a lucky number, a baker's dozen, a complete suit of cards, the card of death in a tarot deck, a missing floor, the Last Supper, an unfortunate number for a dinner party, and an optimal number for a coven. It's a constitutional amendment that ended slavery and incentivized incarceration. It's Friday the 13th, Apollo 13, and the 13 original colonies. It's the age of maturity in Judaism and the minimum recommended appropriate viewing age for a PG-13 movie. 2, the age of 13 doesn't seem to bring back many fond memories for most folks I know. It's a holding spot, a teen in number only, too young to even practice driving, too old to play with unself-conscious abandon, assaulted by battalions of hormones that could take out small towns, straining with anatomy awareness and acne, croaking voices and cramps, unjustly distributed growth spurts that randomly lob curves and heights to some, leaving others behind. The cutest little kids suddenly awkward and gangly, the overlooked little round ones seeming to glow overnight. 3, at 13, I had the body of a 20-year-old in height, boobs, and effect. On the outside, that meant unreasonable adult expectations based on appearance and my first uncomfortable introduction to the male gaze. On the inside, I seemed to get all the feelings at once. Fear was in charge, ably assisted by paranoia. It sounded something like this: what's missing? What's next? What's wrong with me? Why is everyone looking at me? Why isn't anyone noticing me? Is it because it is? It's because I listen to the wrong music. I like the wrong TV shows. I play the flute instead of volleyball. Or maybe it's because I have the wrong clothes, the wrong shoe size, the wrong hair, the wrong hobbies, the wrong address, the wrong family. 4, 13 opens the age of nostalgia, the beginning of lasts. The last time riding bikes with friends with no destination in mind. The last slumber party with Bloody Mary and light as a feather, stiff as a board. The last time that watching an R-rated horror movie with friends feels like an act of rebellion. The last year for homerooms, recess, and simple class photos posted on risers. The last grades with no future college implications. It's the last time everyone stands shoulder to shoulder, watching childhood fight to stay as adolescence looms. 5, being 13 in the summer of 1981 brought hot days splayed on the deck, slathered in baby oil, listening to Journey, Sheena Easton, Foreigner, and Betty Davis Eyes on Magic 107 KMJK. Eating popsicles and watching General Hospital, obsessing over MASH. I had a crush on BJ Honeycutt. Experimenting to see how the blue eyeliner worked with the blue eyeshadow and the blue mascara. Wondering where my strawberry lip smackers went. Sitting cross-legged on my bed, playing Leia's theme over and over on my flute. Devouring Stephen King, V.C. Andrews, Leon Uris, and secretly rereading the Little House books and Where the Red Fern Grows for the umpteenth and what would be the last time. 6, I love 13-year-olds. I love their chaos and sophistication. I love the way you can still sometimes tease out the little kid hiding behind the facade they're beginning to form, that false wall that they think will protect them from all the new emotions they can't yet name or process. I love their unpredictability. I love watching them form their own opinions, coming to their own conclusions on big issues for the first time. I recognize their discomfort as they get to know their new bodies. I love watching them embrace their newfound passion for art, music, horses, basketball, books, cars, dance, and cheer as they learn how to weave them into their lives. They're the opened but not yet used box of crayons, the pupa about to burst from the chrysalis, the just weaned foals in the pasture, the first notes of an overture. 7. When I was studying to be a teacher, I heard that the age you are drawn to teach often correlates to a significant time in your life. I'd argue the age of 13 is significant for everyone, but it came with special challenges for me. It started with that 30-year-old body that sprung up 3 inches and gained 30 pounds in just a few months, which meant that I started 8th grade and turned 13 with a new body I couldn't recognize and didn't like. My brother's 6th grade teacher hit on me. So did my mother's male nursing school classmate. After only knowing each other for a few months, my mother married her second husband, whom I didn't hate yet, but didn't trust. My mom's new husband meant we were moving. Again, number 12 for me, and to boring, of all places. Too far for me to see my friends. A new school was soon to follow, my 10th. And my father moved 1,200 miles away, taking my horse and my heart to Colorado with him. 8. My first year of teaching brought me face to face with a large number of 8th graders for the first time since I was one. They were terrifying. The tallest boys touching 6 feet and sporting baby mustache hairs and bravado. The cool girls perfectly coiffed and outwardly confident, daring anyone not to look at them. The timid, awkward girls gathered in packs of 2s and 3s, holding hands and whispering. Those small boys, though, the ones with the soprano voices, the tops of heads barely reaching the shoulders of those classmates, they came in the room mostly alone. They were the receivers of everyone's jabs, the bottom of the cast. They bore it with good humor and sad eyes. They broke my heart and steeled my spine. 9. My 15-year-old self is in bed listening to my 13-year-old brother laugh so hard that he snorts. I couldn't see him then, but I can now, sitting on his sleeping bag on the floor with his knees pulled up to his chest, eyes squeezed shut, face red and wet with tears. He starts to choke a little on the snot as he begs me, "Please, Shan," unconvincingly to stop whatever I was saying that was making him laugh so hard. Some ridiculous story I made up, pushing it further along every time I'd get a little laugh from him, cultivating it, watching it grow. He's the only person I could make laugh like that, the first best person who looked up to me, I think. His older sister, well behind her facade at that point, sometimes deigning to acknowledge his existence. 10. That 13-year-old boy is as dead as his grandparents, as dead as the connections he once had to his roots, as dead as the time that, however reluctantly, his sister was willing to give him, as dead as the landlines that once were open to him, as dead as his open, vacant eyes were as they bore witness to his father's pain, as dead as the yellowed Colorado grass that he walks across on the way to his grandfather's grave. But his sister's love still echoes faintly, still heard in the remembered stories by their dead grandparents. Shadows seen in the old Polaroid photographs, resting like the dust that settles on the old boxes. Dead, still, until stirred again, maybe by laughter. 11. That 13-year-old girl, I think she's still very much alive. She's the prologue to my story, the person who dove into the music that brought her escape and discovered she was good at it, the one who learned to stare down the male gazers until they looked away, the one who remembers, the one who loves stories, the sordid, the fantastical, and the heart-changing, the one who understands that 13 is just a number and so very much more. Thank you.
Thank you, Shannon, and thanks to all of you for being here. We're now going to take a short break, 10 minutes or so, where you can get something to eat, say hi to somebody, shake hands with somebody you've never met before, say hello to some people, and then we're going to come back for the open mic. And the open mic section is 5 people reading for up to 5 minutes. It's always a surprise. It's a lot of fun. I hope you stick around for it, and we'll do the raffle drawing. So, ready, set, break.